sharing screen.
That's fine. Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you this evening with a special examination. We are looking at the Jack's Abbey House Lager, clocking in at 5.2% ABV and 18 IBUs. This beer comes out of Framingham, Massachusetts. 100 Clinton Street, Framingham, Mass. All right. So I've had this beer a couple of times since I've moved up here. I think Michael's had it. Bumpy's had it. We're going to examine it now and go ahead and pour them up and get right into it. For anybody that doesn't know, Jack's Abbey focuses on lagers. That's what they do, lager beers. And this is probably one of the first, if not the first beer that they produced or started distributing, I guess I should say. They had some other stuff that they were putting out
The Red Tape
before they made it big, but this was the first one that they started distributing out. It's a golden lager, and I think everybody's already poured it. There's what it looks like for all of the viewers out there. It's a nice golden appearance, very clear. Some nice streaming bubbles going up the glass. Mine poured with about a finger's worth. A white, kind of a cross between a frothy and a creamy head. It's got some big bubbles, some small bubbles. Good looking beer in the glass.
Do you have floaties in yours?
I do not. Do you?
Mine looks like a snow globe. If you can see the particles, right?
Oh wow, that's interesting.
I just have carbonation bubbles, no float.
Yeah, mine is pretty much crystal clear.
I have a dirty glass though, so it could be from another beer.
That's interesting. They let you get some.
When they're just sitting, they're sitting still. They're not moving at all. They're jiggling around.
Mine was canned on January 13th, 2022, so pretty fresh for a lager.
Mine was November 10th of 21.
So you got a little bit more aged years.
The candy date's on the side because I don't see
mine's on the bottom.
Maybe it's rubbed off.
Mine's on the bottom.
Maybe mine's rubbed off. I got this as a gift from somebody. It says unfiltered and unpasteurized on the bottom as well.
Okay. So maybe that might have sediment.
Okay. Well, let's just go ahead and get right into it. We're all drinking the same beer here. So, Michael, go ahead and lead us off.
Okay, so I'm going to get a nose. Mine looks the same. It looks on this camera. It looks more yellow because of my fluorescent lighting, but it's the same color that yours was because I could see it. I'm getting kind of a lot. This is funny to say, a lager smell in that it has. You're getting the grains, a clean smell. I'm trying to be descriptive and having trouble. What else are you getting, Bumpy, in the nose that I'm not
I am getting white bread that has been toasted to a golden color.
Yeah, it's kind of toasty.
So kind of like if you're going to make like peanut butter and toast, it's just a nice kind of golden toast to it. But it definitely has this kind of white bread toastiness to it. It doesn't smell like any other type of bread. To me, it doesn't smell like rye or any of the darker breads. It really does just smell like a toasted white bread.
Yeah, and I'm getting a lot of the same, just like a lightly toasted white bread note. A little bit of like an earthy hop note on mine as well. A little bit more than your standard macro lager. You can tell this is craft just because of the little bit of a hop aroma that you get in there. It smells really good. Very very light though on the aroma. It's nothing really, jumping out at you other than that little bit of toasty malt type note. But it smells good.
I get floral hops too.
Floral hops? Yeah.
Mine is older than yours. We don't know how old Michael's is. But you mentioned citrus. I'm kind of getting more of like a floral.
I mentioned more of like an earthy hop note, not necessarily. Now that you mention it, though, there is kind of like a little bit of like a lemon zest in there. But yeah, it smells really good, nice and light. 5.2% 2%, so should be pretty easy drinking. Let's get into it. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everybody.
Chug, chug, chug.
Yes. I can buy a 4-pack of this in the 16-ounce cans for $7.99 or 6-pack of the 12-ounce cans for like $9.99. So either way, excellent value in craft beer. So Michael, I don't think I've ever heard you talk about this beer before, so I'm going to let you lead off with the flavors. And
Okay.
tell us what
I think the flavor profile does follow the nose. I'm getting that toasty kind of flavor, that bready flavor in the taste as well. And I'm getting the same kind of citrus, that little small amount of like a lemon kind of taste as well.
that lemon zest. Yeah, I was getting that.
Yeah, maybe like a sweeter lemon though. Like a what's that? What's
Like
that?
a Meyer lemon?
Yes,
Meyer lemon.
Yeah.
But it goes down easy. I know it's sessionable. It goes down real easy. It has a really nice follow through in the taste. I'm enjoying it. If you're getting any other notes, let us know.
Yeah, Bumpy, you got anything else with yours?
No, not much other than I mean, it's definitely got. This one drinks to me like it's like a lighter stuff, but medium body almost. It's got this kind of heftiness to it.
It does,
but it is still crisp. It is drying to the palate, but it definitely has like a little bit of a heft. But still, it's on the lighter side of that. It's not a full on medium body. Carbonation, it's spritzy, but I'm not sure if I can go with a high carbonation versus like a medium carbonation on it. But it does have that kind of spritzy carbonation.
right? Yeah. I'm getting. Yeah, it does have that nice prickly carbonation, kind of like champagne. The body is more on the medium side, which is nice. It does have some good body to it, but it's not heavy by any means. It's definitely a 5.2%. You can drink quite a few of these. I really love this beer, and I've bought it's probably the 5th or 6th time I've bought 4 packs or 6 packs of it since I've lived up here. The price point is spot on. You're getting that craft beer flavor, but it keeps. I mean, if you're used to drinking Budweiser, Coors, Miller High Life, this is just a better version of those beers. You get the lemon zest, you get a little bit of the earthy, floral hop notes in there. The body's a little bit more substantial than your macro lagers for the most part. It just has more flavor and better flavor.
I'm getting like for the bitter, because there is a bitterness to the finish.
There's a little bit more of a hop by 18 IBUs, which
18 IBUs, but I mean that's kind of standard for a Helles lager type style thing, a house lager, a golden lager, whatever you want to call it. To me, because you guys are kind of mentioning earthy, to me that it's not coming off super earthy. It's coming off more herbal on the finish.
A little herbal, okay.
If you kind of think along the terms of like rosemary type things like that.
Yeah. To me, it's more malty. Like you do get the little bit of a hot bite on the finish, but it's more malty too than a lot of the standard lagers. Definitely a significant malt presence in the middle of the sip, like a sweetness. It's not anywhere near being cloying, but it's sweeter than your average lager, which I like, and I think it complements the hops really well. That sweetness that you're getting in the middle with the malt character, and then the little bit of bitterness from the hops. It's just a really nice balance, and whatever hops they're using in here really, I mean, they really complement the malt character and just the body of the beer, because it's not, sometimes when you use certain hops, there's just a lot. It can take over And I'm not just talking about IPAs either. I'm talking about like some of the ESBs that I've had where they have a lot of bitterness in the back end. You know, you can overdo it, and they seem to have hit the sweet spot with the balance between the malt and the hops.
Yeah,
and that medium body is really nice.
You talk about the sweetness too.
Yeah.
To me, it kind of has that kind of slight doughiness to it. So you get the toasted bread, but there is a very slight dough. And it almost reminds me like the sweetness that you're talking about. You know how you can get those the Quaker oatmeal packs? You have like the brown sugar, cinnamon, whatever. And if you like open those up and they're dry, and you kind of inhale some of the whatever they put in there, whether it's the apple cinnamon or something like that, it kind of has like a little bit of that kind of dried oat and a little bit of that kind of sugar type sweetness, which is kind of the doughiness to me.
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Like it doesn't taste like apples or cinnamons or anything like that, but it's kind of that.
Right.
It's got that dry.
Like one of those, not like a sugar cookie, but like one of those, like an animal cracker cookie. Like when I was a kid, you get the little box of the animal.
Yes.
They have a little bit of sweetness to them.
Yeah.
They're made for kids, so they probably load them up with sugar. I don't know. But anyway, they've got a little bit of sweetness in there, and it kind of has like an animal cracker note in there, which is bringing me back to my childhood.
Yeah.
So a little nostalgia in there. But yeah, no, it's a great beer. I would highly recommend it. The price is on point. Jack's Abbey makes some excellent stuff. I was drinking this earlier on your show, the Smoke and Dagger Black Lager, another great beer from them. I haven't had anything from Jack's Abbey that I don't like yet, and this is one of their staples. It's everywhere up here in Massachusetts, and I know, Bumpy, you can get it up there in New Hampshire. But
we can get some of these beers at the food co-op, but we don't get any of their Framing Hammer series or any of the more heavy duty stuff. So
it's interesting too. If you look at their website, it says that they are now nationwide with their distribution. However, I am 100% positive they didn't sell any of the Jack's Abbey stuff down in Georgia. Definitely not in Alabama. I don't think Miscellaneous can get their stuff in Florida. So they've obviously still got a long way to go as far as nationwide distribution and consistency among different markets, because I've never seen it before I moved up to Massachusetts.
It may be in different parts of the state, though. You know, that's still nationwide, even if it doesn't reach.
Yeah, but nationwide to me means too, like every state, at least in the greater 48. I would bet you that they don't sell it in every state across.
Nationwide to me, I see it as a jingle. Nationwide
is on your side, right? Okay.
On your side. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. What are you guys thinking? We don't need to go too long here. We're all drinking the same beer. It sounds like we all are enjoying it, but what are we thinking, like rating wise? I'm very interested, especially to hear Michael's thoughts rating wise, because this is not typically the type of beer that he would go for.
No, I'm not a tremendous lager person, but the other side is when it's craft brewed lager, I can get into it more.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a huge difference between this and the macros, I think.
You like German lagers.
I like German lagers.
And that's what a lot of the craft lagers kind of follow suit with the German lagers.
Does this remind you of a German lager?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's characteristic of a lot of the German lagers, I think. And I don't want to be hostile to the macros to the point where I'm downing them. It's just that they're not as tasty.
Well, there's no love. That's the main ingredient to good cooking is love. In the macros, they don't give a crap about love. They're just out there for the money. How can we make this the cheapest we can and still?
I know you can go and buy 30 packs for $17.99, but if you think about it, what does that mean? That's not good. I mean, it depends on who you are, I guess. If you're Drewski, Brewski, or something, I don't want to pick on any individual people, but if you're somebody who wants to buy large quantities, I shouldn't be down on you. I don't want to pick on one person. It's not fair. but there are people who do just like lagers and that type style too. So I mean, it's not like it's everybody, but there are people who don't like IPAs, which is allowed.
Yeah.
Don't like stout.
I picked actually craft lagers for this year coming up, being the number one looked for beer, or the number one selling beer, craft lagers in general.
Well, I'll be looking to try more. I'm willing to try craft lagers. I'm not hostile. I'm just not. And Drewski is a legend.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll call him right now and tell him that. But he gets off work in 1 hour, so
in his own way, he's definitely legendary. But whatever. Okay, so you'd like me to give this a rating? I guess
you're ready, yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'm going to give it a 95. So it's a solid A for what I think it is. For a lager beer, a little bit session-y at 5.2 with kind of a little bit of a hop bite in it. I'm giving it a 95, which to me is a solid A.
Okay. Maybe the highest rating for a lager Michael Kormoth has ever given.
It's probably close to the highest one, if it's not the highest one.
All right, so Bumpy, what do you think?
I think that it's enjoyable. It's nice. It's got good flavors. No like off flavors to it. There are some different craft lagers though that I've had. I mean, we get Schilling Beer Company here. They make some fantastic, pretty much authentic German style brews. But they're an American brewery, and it is a little bit more expensive for some of the Schilling beers than the Jack's Abbey. So I'll give them that. They do have that, very low price point. But it's not. This isn't my favorite. I'm going to call that Helles.
Which it is. They
it actually has Helles Lager on the can.
It says Golden Lager, and then
Helles Lager's on the other. Helles Land Beer on the other side.
Helles Land Beer. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is not my favorite Helles, brewed by an American brewery, but I'll score it at a 93 out of 100.
All right, and I'm kind of right there with both. I'm going to split the difference and go 94 out of 100, but I definitely think it's a solid A craft lager, and I would definitely recommend it. I think you could probably bring this to a party where everybody's drinking, Bud Miller Coors, and just say, hey, I got a good lager here, and give it to some of the guests at the party, and they would probably never go back to their other stuff, their Miller Coors Bud, because this just got a little bit more going for it than the big, the big macros. And I really enjoy it. I like the little hop note in there, and it's got a nice malt sweetness that's almost reminiscent to me of a malt liquor, which may be why I like it more than a lot of the macro stuff, because I like malt liquors and that little bit of extra sweetness that you get from the malts, and this has that. But it's not, like I said before, it's not cloying or anything like that, but it definitely has a little bit more malt sweetness than your traditional macro lager, and that European type hop note, the lemon zest, the earthy floral notes, and slight bittering finish that you get really just round it out. And yeah, it's a wonderful beer. FACP monitoring says, yeah, Drewski is alive and well. We saw him not too long ago hanging out, so he's still around. He's actually working right now, I believe, so he may be on later tonight on the late night YouTube live streams. You'll just have to look and see.
Tyler Mansell's in the chat.
I saw Tyler Mansell. We haven't seen Tyler in a while. I see him in the chats from time to time. I know he's kind of staying away from the live streaming and stuff like that, but always good to see Tyler around, and hope you're doing well, buddy. Of course, Tanner's in the chat as well. Tommy Carroll. So yeah, cheers to everybody in the chat. Thanks for stopping by. This is kind of just a last minute thing. We didn't know exactly when we were going to do this. And I talked to Michael earlier and he said, well, how about after Bumpy show? And I was like, yeah, why not? So Bumpy stepped away for a minute, I guess. But anyway, we can go ahead and wrap this up. No need to.
John, it's been fun.
So yeah, thank you to Michael Kornroth and Bumpy for joining me for this examination of the Jack's Abbey House Lager. We all gave it an A rating, so definitely a solid lager beer from Jack's Abbey out of Framingham, Mass. If you can get it in your area, definitely worth a shot. Check it out. Let us know what you think. That'll do it for this examination, guys. Hope everybody has a great night, great rest of your week, and we'll see you all on the next one. Until then, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.